Yo, what's up? Welcome back. We got Landon Sears here.
What's up? What's up?
Upcoming artist in Nashville, born and raised Danville.
Yes, sir.
Here we go.
All right.
She broke my heart like vases in a house party. Got me so confused, know what you about, shorty. What I gave you all my love, you wasn't down for me. You would creep on the side, you would cheat, you but I never heard about your past story.
I'm Landon Sears. I'm from Danville, Kentucky. It's a little town in Kentucky. It's kind of close to Lexington. Not really. Man, Danville's kind of a college town. You got Center College, which a lot of kids that I grew up with ended up going there to school. There's not really a lot of music stuff going on, at least in the genre that I do. And so it's like, you know, that's why I had to go to Nashville, was just kind of branch out a little bit and kind of get some connects out here. But yeah, I mean, other than that, there's really not too much going on in Danville. But yeah.
I mean, like, what's the music scene like in Danville?
I mean, there really is no music scene in Danville. I mean, you got like, you have people like the classical music programs that kids are going through, but I mean, there's really not any kind of scene for the type of stuff that we're doing, like more in the hip hop R&B space. So I mean, just growing up there, I was kind of on my own when it came to music, and I had to like figure out about all the people that I like totally by myself, like through like YouTube and iTunes and stuff like that. There really wasn't any kind of outlet for it, so. I started making music when I was real young. I was probably like, I played the violin first. That's what I got into music, was playing violin, and then I found out about hip hop, which was like the most mind blowing thing to me at the time.
Yeah.
And so I started trying to make just terrible raps, and I would like try to play like violin over like T-Pain instrumentals, and then go to school and burn little CDs and sell them. And that was I know that there's got to be some copies of that floating around somewhere, so I'm gonna have to get that.
I gotta find it.
It'd be terrible, man. But yeah, I was just trying to like rap like super corny bars and just awful stuff all the time. And I just kept practicing. I was just using GarageBand, you know. And then I kind of graduated to Logic Pro when I was in high school, started messing with it more, which coincidentally that music was still super bad. And it's terrible. I started like uploading it on like YouTube, Bandcamp, trying to sell it, just like ripping beats off YouTube, typical stuff, like, you know how people do when they start out, get the tight beats and put them down. But you know, it was all a learning curve, process.
So like, how did you go about trying to incorporate the violin into like rap and hip hop?
Man, well, just like, so I don't really play violin like a typical violin player. I play like a lot more. Rather than like arrangement parts, I play like lead with it. And I grew up listening to jazz musicians and trying to copy like jazz guys. So I didn't really play a violin like a violin, like the typical violin player would play a violin. So I was trying to like, you know, mimic like Dr. Dre guitar leads and like stuff like that and put it in the music. And I was always, back in the day, I used to just put like a ton of effects on the violin and kind of make it seem like it wasn't, because I was like, people they're gonna think it's weird that violins in a hip hop song. But and then eventually I was like, nah, that's corny, like just put it in there, it's fly. It sounds good, it's fly.
You do your own creativity.
Yeah, man, it's fly.
Pull up in the El Camino in the black Benz.
Wow. Probably like R&B and hip hop is what, I don't know what I just got such a soft spot for hip hop. I love hip hop music. I've always loved hip hop, but like my sound is definitely obviously a lot more R&B. And so like I listen to I think it's just kind of a mix of R&B and hip hop, but I love jazz stuff. Like got into a lot of Korean jazz recently, got into I mean, I'm all over the place musically, like really. But I'm if you ask like me right now to take aux chord, I'm gonna probably play hip hop or R&B probably.
I've never heard of Korean jazz. I never heard Korean jazz. Is it similar?
It's fascinating. Yeah, no, well, because the thing is, like, I feel like Korea take a lot from American music, and so a lot of times they try so hard to make it Americanized that it actually comes out better than the American music. Yeah. So there's a lot of Korean jazz that's like really super well done, like crazy, like just so textbook in every little detail. And it's just, there's unlimited like resources and stuff on YouTube, and if you just like get on there and literally type in Korean jazz, you can find like 50 albums.
Yeah, I got into like Korean rap a few years ago, and it's like, even though I can't understand it, but I just vibe with it.
A lot of guys over there. I love just the beat selection too. Like a lot of guys over there really got good production choices. Like I really like this dude, Code Kunst. He's fire, like, and he picks the best like musical backdrops to like rap on. Like his stuff, his production is just so like flourishing, and like the chords, his chord choice and stuff is just wild. So I like a lot of those guys, man.
You have an album dropping.
I do.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
88.1.
So why 88.1? Why is the name?
All right. So 88.1 is a jazz station here in Nashville. It's just like a local jazz station. I think it's like something like Fisk University, and it's like I don't know who runs it, but they just play like super fire, just like smooth jazz, and like we always just ride around to it, and we put that on all the time whenever we're going places, and we ended up using so many sounds on the album. Ended up just being influenced by those sounds on the radio, because like we brought in the horns, we brought in like the smooth, like the guitars, like even like the chord choices and the just like live bass on most songs rather than subs. Like that was a big thing, and I think that just 88.1 like it sounds, the album is like kind of sonically similar to like 88.1, so we just went with it. And I know that like not a lot of people are gonna get that reference, but they don't need to. It's fine. Like the music will speak for itself.
It's funny too because like I worked at a radio station in Lexington called WRFL.
I know, he was talking about this.
WRFL, and it's also called 88. They also have 88.1 as their frequency, and it's
super
like
fire.
I was like, wait, is this that? And he was like, nah, that's not it. But it just the connection was like, I was like, that's super. It's crazy.
Yeah, man, that's wild. Man, so I started on it like 2 years ago, and I was like, back then I was just like making a bunch of songs because I knew I wanted to do an album, but like my process for an album is just to make so many. I made like 80 something songs, like, but I mean not all of them were super crazy. Obviously, that's something I had to get eliminated. So I just made a ton of songs and just picked the best ones, and that was quite the arduous process. When quarantine started, that really put me in album mode. And it was like, man, I got all these songs, and I have no time. Like, I have all the time in the world. Quarantine.
You got cramming in.
So, I mean, I had just graduated college. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, let me just finish this album. So we just started, like, I couldn't have a lot of my normal session guys come over and help me with it. So I was just, like, emailing them tracks, and they were sending it back, even though they're a couple miles away or whatever. So it just, like, the whole process tied itself together fairly quickly when I really decided it was time to finish it. But I would say the actual creation was like over the last 2 years. There was just 1 week in like 2018 where I think I made like 4 or 5 of the album songs. I don't know what it was. I was just on a roll this 1 week. Yeah, like, and I made like Daiquiri Ice, Shay. I made like all these crazy songs on the album. Like Next Time We're Flying, I made like all these songs in like 5 days, and I was like, wow, that's like these 4. It was like 4 or 5. I might be capping a little bit, but yeah, that was a good week. And then the rest kind of like took a long time to process. Like.
So, like, in the process of making the album, what do you consider, like, your strengths? Or, like, what were your strengths in making the project?
Wow, that's interesting. I mean, so the way my process usually goes is I make all the beats myself, obviously, and so then I'll make, like, the skeleton of the beat because I get super, when I have an idea in my head, I don't even worry about the production. I just get enough of a loop to where I can, just rap on it or sing on it. And then I go back in and fill in the production later. So I don't really get super hung up on trying to make, like, the perfect instrumental before I start doing stuff. But my strengths probably, I mean, just like vocally, like the rapping and like singing pockets, like harmony. I think harmony is probably my biggest strength. Is like laying harmonies. Like bro, that's my favorite thing ever is doing harmony.
You kill it every time, single time, bro.
Yeah, I really love doing harmonies and trying to like make stuff sound like a Broadway musical or something. Like just how many can I fit in a bar? Like, how many notes can we put in it?
Squeeze them in.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So what would you consider like your weaknesses?
Weaknesses? Wow. I really don't like. What do I not like doing? That's a lot of stuff. I really. Super crazy. I hate programming hi-hats. I'm gonna go a super technical
example. Is it tough? Is it?
I mean, no, I'm definitely capable of doing it. I just like my buddy does it better, so I usually get Caleb to do it. He's quicker with it. But I really hate programming hi-hats. But I will do it if I had to. But that's the drum sequencing like is just annoying for me a lot of times. But I definitely can do it, and I have done it a million times. It's just that's what gets on my nerves the most. Another weakness is trying to put too many songs on a project. Because like I was saying, like my manager saying, I was trying to put like 24 songs.
24
on the album, and he was like, "What? No, like, stop it." So,
I mean, like, what would you consider like a high number? Like, what's a good number to put?
I don't know. I gotta have an even number of songs. I can't have an odd number. I could never put out a project that had 11 songs. I'm actually lying. I put out an EP one time with 5, but it pained me to do so. It really was painful. But yeah, I just any kind of even number. Like, I feel like 10 or 12 is really the sweet spot. But yeah, man, next album it's about to be like 50 Cent.
50 Cent.
It's gonna be like Get Rich or Die Trying. It's gonna have so many songs. Song on the album that is tough. Probably Locomotion. Just because that song was such a pain to make, man. It was like that project file was like 400 tracks. Like all the horns and vocal layers, and that is a perfect example of the harmony stuff I was talking about.
Yeah.
Where like there's so many harmonies, and they're all like doubled so many times, and it's like some Beach Boys. Like it's crazy. Like,
Yeah, the horn on that track, it just stands out.
it's three horns. I cut 3 different. Like I had to have 3 different dudes come and cut it. Yeah, like I had to, like we had. I don't care. It was like saxophone, trombone, just like typical horn section, I guess, really.
Yeah.
But we had to split it up different days, so it took forever. That song was so hard to make, and the thing was about that song, I actually lost the original project file, so I had to remake it from scratch. But the new version turned out so much better than the old version. And the old version was kind of a completely different vibe though.
Bro, that is the worst when you work on something so hard.
It was done too.
And then
I had like
Yo.
I wanted to recut like 2 lines in my verse.
Yeah.
But they was gonna like make the song, and then I just lost the project file, and I was so mad. I was so mad. But we recut it, and it turned out so much better, but so different than the original.
Yo, at least you're happy about it. That's
Yeah.
So you dropped Next Time We're Flying.
Yes.
And then I reacted to it.
You did.
Well, I reacted to the song.
Started on the wheels. Bro.
I reacted to the song and the lyric video. So when I came into the lyric video, you know, you pull up in his limousine. I thought it was cheese at first. I didn't know.
I already know what you about to say, bro. The wheels.
The wheels.
You know what I'm saying? Right off the bat.
What is that?
I'm looking at this plane, bro. I don't know how this plane functioning, bro. Like, look at the landing gear. Y'all see the landing gear? Get it? Landing gear. Y'all get it? Landing gear, bro. I don't even know. And this plane about to take off, about to take flight. How, bro? How? Like the way I'm looking at how. Look at this wing that's close to the ground, and then look at the wing that's in the air. Like where's the landing gear for that wing?
Bro, yes, the plane has 3. Here's the thing. I feel like the guy that did the video was much more of a graphic designer than he was a plane engineer. So he might have not known to put the right. I don't know, man.
Bro,
it took off the ground though. That's all that matters.
How?
Dude,
How?
It defied God. The engineering was a little suspect, but I mean, man, I don't know. He was killing me when you hit me with that.
Yeah, I didn't know how it took off and how it landed, because like that's it's a mystery. I gotta see it.
Yeah,
it needs to be solved.
That was.
You know, we'll come back to that in a future time. But so I listened to the album, fire. My favorite song, Uno Reverse.
Oh man.
So tell me the thought process on this song.
Reverse. That was one of those ones I made in that 1 week. It was like, yeah, it's one of them ones I made in there. And then all the ones that I made when I did have that crazy week, we took them and then like redid all of them, like obviously, like, and I rewrote verses to like half of them, and like, so they're actually kind of new. Like some of the original ideas were just drawn from there, but Uno Reverse, I don't know what made me think of that, man. Sometimes I have no idea like what the process was. I just kind of
it just came to you.
It's kind of black out sometimes, and it just kind of like hits me. But yeah, I don't know. And then I mean the verses are just like really in depth about just like living in that like early times when I was in Nashville and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like that. I love that song too.
It's fire. Right?
I love how aggressive that outro is. Just the R&B outro that just doesn't need to be there. It's so funny. Like just a minute extra. I had some of my homies. They're like, "Yo, you need to take out that outro." I was like, "No, it's so R&B. It's staying." I had to keep that in there, and I just love. That's my favorite. That actually might be my favorite musical moment in the whole song. Just not apart from my favorite song, but that musical moment, that outro of Uno Reverse is probably my favorite thing on the album.
It's my favorite, bro.
Thank you, man. That one's tough.
Is there anything that you would like to change, or you would have changed on this album?
No,
nothing.
Rap,
nothing.
It's album.
No
this
touching
album
it.
is my baby.
You just lay it out there.
Here's the thing. As a like producer and artist, there's always like I gotta cut myself off at some point because I will tweak an album until it's just like can't be. Yeah. I gotta cut myself off at some point because like it was probably fine like 5 mixes ago, and then I'll be like, nah, 10 more mixes. Yeah. So like, so there comes a time when you gotta just pull the plug.
I think like any creator, like when you make something, it's like you want to be a perfectionist so bad, but you know it'll kill you to do so. Yeah. So like when you throw it out there, it's like that's it. You watch it, you listen to it, and you're like, oh man, but it's like it is what it is.
Man, we had a deadline, and I was like contemplating like redoing drum breaks. I was like, no, we don't need to do this. We gotta stop. So yeah, but I would change nothing now that it's done.
All right, man. Well, this was a good little interview right here. You
Yes,
know what I'm
sir.
saying? Yo, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Of course, bro.
Your music.
We're brothers. We're happy and we're safe.
Bro, you gotta keep dropping these fingers.
I'm dropping all year. Why not? Like I said, I can clear out these songs.
Yeah.
I wanted to do
You
like
gotta-
2 albums this year.
How many you got in the bag? That's the thing. How many?
Oh, man. I probably like on hand that could be mixed down, like ready to go.
Yeah.
Or stuff with, I got a lot of stuff that has like, it's almost done, but like needs a verse or like
Yeah.
stuff like that that's like super close to finish. But overall, like ready to drop probably like 30 something, 30, 40, somewhere. They're like, still obviously like a little bit of
Yeah,
changes
yeah,
here and there, but like are ready to go that I could get done in like a day.
That's a lot.
Like pump them out, yeah. So I'm ready to go. So this is gonna be a good year. Feeling good about this year.
2021, y'all.
Yes, sir.
2021. You know what I'm saying? We got 88.1
88.1
dropping.
dropping.
And yo, this has been Landon Sears, y'all.
Fire.
Come on, no one set a bar. She call up like telemarketers. Tell her put the broken heaven on the